we have the pleasure of welcoming renowned musician Mbeu to the studio. Mbeu, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited and happy to be alive.
I want to start there. I don't need to get heavy.
Before you even go any further, do you know his actual name?
No.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you?
Is it your interview? He's supposed to tell us.
Can I tell you his name?
You want to show off.
I want to see if I know it right.
Okay, let us.
Ashton
Yes.
Nyahora.
But I've got two names.
That's why he just said to spoil it. That's why tell us who you are, right?
Bon Ashton Tapiwa na Shenyahora. Yeah, aka Mbeu. Mbeu Nderebaza Chigure. Mbeu Chigure is just a name that I was given in the music industry, but my real name is Ashton Tapiwa na Shenyahora.
But what does Mbeu mean?
Well, now ndakazotsvaga meaning yangu nechi, but how it came is kuti it was like my first studio song, like Yainze Mbeu. So back then kunotoni, because I was raised kunotoni, born raised kunotoni. Tulakumene ku Fish Town. People didn't know my name. Like Ashton is like complicated moment. But Ashton, kampana Mbeu kaka. Kampana Mbeu, keso Mbeu kaka. No, that's how it came to be. And I was like, how can you call me Mbeu? Because Tichikura, I used to call myself Ashiza Maniza. Ashiza Maniza! I put some sugar in it, but I
think Mbeu has sort of a unique artistic flair to it.
It's got the
it does. And you know, for me, do pakabva pato ita kickstart patanga kushepa career yangu, and I've been Mbeu ever since, and hence Modzi Tribe yakazo ndopa yakazobaro 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago ndopa yakazozvarwa Modzi Tribe, but Mbeu came, the name came years ago. Music. Yeah.
I want to go back to to a quick conversation we had before we went on air, and something that you hinted. You said happy to be alive. I know you went through something very difficult at the start of the year, and that's kept you quiet, I think, for most of January. Maybe if you can just briefly share with us what happened.
I had a fatal accident. It was horrific. It was horrific. You know, so 1 January. In the morning, you know, Maxeni, you know, sometimes these things happen, but I'm glad that I'm alive, and the only thing I remember is and then head on bar. The next thing, I woke up in the hospital, couldn't even move, couldn't even wake up. I had a fractured rib, I had concussion, and sorrow and everything. But I'm glad I'm recovering, and you know, nakatutanga shows on weekend, and tomorrow I'm also going to be doing another show in Rua, the leisure center. Yeah.
So you didn't forget the lyrics at all?
Prior and Sunday accident. Do you know how it is? Because I've got 5 albums to my name, I've got more than 100 singles. So my lyrics are not teaser here and there, but I think he accident.
So instead of making you forget that,
now I'm even more conscious.
You talk about Norton being your home,
my hometown.
We know this is a home to a legendary star, and you had a chance to work with him. What was the journey like with Dr. Oliver Mtukudzi?
It was a privilege, I would say. I'm very honored to have met that I would say that legend in this lifetime, because if it wasn't for Pakare Pai, maybe you might have not known. I would say Pakare Pai Art Center, even up to now, it's still there, and a lot of artists they're getting exposure from that. But I would say it shaped me so much. Even everything I know, I owe it to Dr. Oliver Mtukudzi. Him being my mentor, he was not just my mentor, but he was more like even a father. Because, mind you, I lost my parents at a very young age. So growing up in Pakare Pai Takawanda, it was not just me. There were so many artists there. Sakataka kuzwa tingolwana. And then I sit chingori, of course, takure yudani muronze nichi asi. Kuna moms tingolwana.
But I mean, what are the 10 years as you know, as Mbeu and the Modzi Tribe? 5 albums.
Yes.
And when we just looking back on that journey, obviously, what has been the highlight for you? Those 10 years, where you find their way, whatever influence the legend.
Yes.
But how have you taken lessons from that, and then maybe just carved out your own path to the Mbeu that we know today?
Yeah, I would say it has been an interesting journey for me, honestly speaking, because I continue learning even up to now. I've worked with a lot of people. I've done collaborations with so many big guys, the likes of Namambo Duterere, Japres, Freeman, just to mention a few. But overall, what I've learned is in this life we continue learning in the Trumba Chiziza, even Chiropawan and Senza now, Katasabend Rangore Mozi tribe. I've worked with over 30 individuals, because that's how life is. People grow. Same as Zandagaita Inini. Prior to Mozi tribe being born, I was part of a group. So, I only had the opportunity to Kushanda now just for 1 album, but we were together for about 4.5 years. And then later on, I was booted out, only to figure out, okay, fine, and now I'm my solo career is Mbeu. So everything happens for a reason, and I've learned, I'm still learning, and the journey is amazing.
What can we look forward to now? 10 years obviously is a huge mark, and congratulations by the way for that.
Thank you so much.
But what can we look forward to? What is Mbeu giving us next?
There's so much in store. As you've seen Kuti right now, I pump up my management. Actually, my management now is Nigel Kabila Nyamtumbu. So, I'm so excited. We are celebrating a decade of Mozi tribe music. So there's a concert coming, a very big concert. And Shashezo Mabiangu Mashamwari Angu industry. And I've got last year, even the previous year's diary with the music. So I'm planning to release a lot of music this year for my fans, because as you've seen, 10 years I've managed to have 5 albums. The main tendency I do 1 album. I take my time, because I'm a guitarist. You just can't get in the studio and say what you need to take time. My guitar and they are hard, they are difficult. So sometimes it will take me a year or 2 to prep my maningangu. Saka daingo space anema 2 years kungewana. Ananso da gore mwana gore.
When I look at Mbeu, the artist, over the last 10 years specifically, and I think you've sort of carved out your own niche in terms of your sound and even just your unique live performances. If you were to be asked, how would you describe your music? Would you package it into a specific genre, or it's something that you think is maybe it can't be contained in one particular genre?
Obviously it can't be contained in one particular genre, but a lot of people want to categorize them Afrofusion. They call it Afrofusion, but as you've said, I do reggae, I do rumba, I do soul, I do anything that comes my way, because I'm a vocalist, and and in any limitation I wouldn't want to box myself into saying ndiri munhu akati anoita music akati. Hence even the collaborations that I've done even vakasiyana. If you take a look at the range of unaita jazz signal, wenda unoita na Mambo Duterere, wenda unoita na Freeman, vanhu vakasiyana vese vapo. So I've always wanted to experiment when it comes to my music, and I'm still experimenting a lot, and I'm really excited for the next project.
I'm curious, because this is my favorite song that you've done. That collaboration that you talk about with Mambo Duterere.
Yes, one of my biggest songs.
What inspired that? Do you know the guitar in that song?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Whenever I must tell you this though. Whenever I drive, we play a lot of music along the road, with the family and stuff. So when we get to that part, then it plays, because it's the last beat of the song, right?
Yes.
And then the guys will be like, aren't you repeating it? So always that part there. So how was it like working with someone like Mambo Duterere in that song?
It was amazing, because even that collaboration, Parakawia, it came at the time that I really needed it. I wasn't expecting it, because tataka sangana ku project we were doing an album rangarinde ma artist akawanda for Net One. So kwamana Mambo Duterere vana jazz signal team rakawanda. And then he was like, I loved your music. And I was like, Dad, you don't like your own music. So
it was like a bromance.
It was like a bromance. So even project actually it didn't go ahead. And then he close, and he was like, you know what? let's do a song. And then we went kuna makumbe, and even the recording process was amazing because mashandira ndinoita, I'm not a stingy person when it comes to ideas. Toda kuti tise share my ideas. Even my producers andosenza now kana takuita chino toti chinhu chedu. Saka ndinchoti cha apa rupanzwa sei. And Mambo Duterere is one of the most humblest human beings I've ever met. He's down to earth. But I'm really humbled to have Mabiango Akadaro Murwendoro music. He's always there for me, even as a brother. We managed to have a relationship is very tighter than his man's. We are very close. Yeah.
And speaking of the guitar, how important is that instrument in terms of your music? I know you're not just a musician in your ability to play the guitar. I mean, you've got amazing vocals as well, but that guitar, like how much does it influence and define you as an artist?
Man, it defines me to the what happened was kuti chakaita kuti nditozoda kuridza instrument is kuti I learned that way back in 2013. I went for star bride competitions, and that's the era. I think that's the era I win Brian Kadengu, if I'm not mistaken. So we went there and I got up top 40, the best vocalist in Zimbabwe, top 40, and I was like, yeah, this is my opportunity. And then all of a sudden, 20 was 20 vairidza vachimba, 20 vaingoimba chete. Saka pane 20 vaingoimba chete ndopanda ndiro ipapo. Nasa ndakutoridza guitar. Then we were booted out because obviously vaidomune utaningani something chinomcompliment. So I learned that way. I was heartbroken. I was like,
you mean you could not play the guitar at that point?
I could not play the guitar.
At 20, so when and how did you start playing the guitar?
I went back to Pakari Pai because I remember camping at Takenda Kumazika Day, if I'm not mistaken, quite Kwantakazuno Gudira top 20, actually top 20. So I went back to Pakari Pai and I was like, I want to start learning this guitar. Was prior. He said, you know what, you need an instrument that complements you. But being a fan of Engota Ahmad.
Actually what?
you need to have an instrument that complements you. So I would be like, I'm not trying to titongi because obviously, I wanted to walk my own road. Because he was like, you can play mbira, you can play anything. So it has been my language even now. I always preach that language. When you have an opportunity to learn an instrument, go for it. Because for me now my advantage is I can do a show with a full band, I can do a show by myself, I can do anything. The sky's the limit, And even Jeroma Studios give it the fact that busy and you get even extra money. There's so much, the sky is the limit. Are
we likely to see any international, maybe regional collaborations anytime soon?
Definitely, that's a good question, because now since we are celebrating a decade of multi-track music. I've got a big collaboration with guys from Tanzania. So I wouldn't want to spill so much hip-hop, but this year is just something else. I guess second chance it really made me open my eyes, even more. So there's big things coming. I
mean, throughout this, I've noticed a theme in terms of just how much you keep referencing Pakari Paya. The influence and the support and the education from the late great legend Oliver Mtukudzi. Obviously 10 years in, surely now you also have to start thinking about how you're going to be giving back to upcoming artists, to artists who are looking at you. But I mean, so that can also say so I mean, what are some of what do you want your legacy to be? Just quickly, we just got about a minute. What do you want your legacy to be, and how do you want Mbeu to be remembered as a musician?
Yeah, I've always been, even in these 10 years that I've always been a person that opened opportunities. And when you take a look at Pandagaita Axtend, so I've got guys who are mentoring Maripo, now pedo Pakawanda, and of course, because music is tight. Busy, but I'm really captivated to work with a lot of artists, especially locally in Mbeu.
Thank you very much, and we're happy you're alive, and we look forward to the new work and the new concerts.
Konapo Ipapo by ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.